I wanted to talk with you because,
Sure.
Applied Innovations made that transition from being a classic come to the office 9 to 5 type company. Well, we were a 24/7 company to a remote work company.
Right.
And you were there for that. And I want to pick your brain.
Sure.
So
Well, I
go for it.
think, well, one of the advantages that we had over probably most companies now, especially with what's going on, is that we were able to kind of ease into it by working from home on Friday and still, working from the office the rest of the week. So, a little advantage, but yeah, I don't think anyone's more experienced at it than we are,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, for me, it was that I had to establish a schedule in the morning. That I would wake up in the morning, shower, shave, and get dressed as if I was going to work, whether I was going to an office or going downstairs to my office. I had to do that. Has your morning schedule changed any?
Uh, well, one thing it did give me an extra hour in the morning that I don't have to use commuting to the office, which was great. But yeah, you're right. If you don't stay focused, if you don't create some type of routine, then you're going to fall into the old, well, hey, I can wash dishes and work. So yeah, you don't want to fall into that multitasking, which is probably the biggest thing people are going to struggle with. So you're right, boss. Staying focused, having a certain time that you get up, that you have a certain room that you go into to start work, and stay focused until your lunch break.
So
Staying
you're
focused is
getting
the
ahead of
key.
me. You're getting
Sorry,
ahead of me there, Ed. But yeah,
boss.
that was the one was the morning ritual. The other thing I found that works really well for me is keeping my weekend ritual separate from my weekday ritual. So on the weekends, I wake up in the morning, I get dressed, in a t-shirt and shorts. Maybe I brush my teeth. Sorry to my dentist to tell him that. And head down and have that cup of coffee and watch TV, right? For me, it's keeping those two rituals separate so that I still remember one's different from the other.
Sure.
Um, you touched on having a dedicated area in your home.
Mhm.
Tell me about that.
Well, it's good to have an office that's away from all the other hustle and bustle of what's going on in your house, especially if you have children. You have the kids running around. If your wife stays home and takes care of the kids, then you have that distraction as well. It's just a way of reducing distractions, is having a dedicated room to where you could focus.
Yeah, I found that's helped a lot for me. That way I'm able to separate work life from home life. When I started Applied Innovations back in '99, I was still a full-time engineer for Motorola, and I had my computer in my bedroom of all places. And it was funny. Some of my earliest customers were visiting us from Mexico City, Mexico, and they're like, "Jess, you respond instantly at all times." I'm like, "Yeah, that's because that first year the computer was next to the bed, so I would see the alert go up and I would go take care of it." Things have changed since then. We're a little bit bigger since then,
Right.
and I don't have the computer in the office, but they're in the bedroom. But what was important for me and what I had to change was that even if the computer is, if you don't have a dedicated office, let's say you put your computer in a corner in a room or somewhere,
Mhm.
when 5 o'clock hits and your day's over, cover it up, put it away. If it's a laptop, shut it down, put it away. If it's a full on computer, and let's say it's in a corner of the room or something, throw a sheet over it so you don't see it. It's
Yep,
really easy to burn out when you work from home,
that's true.
and
Another
you don't want to be that guy.
That's true. Another little
Uh,
trick I found helpful is with your cell phone. Maybe set a time to where notifications go off, work notifications turn off. And that way you're not getting.
that's a great point. One of our team members, Wayne, he does that, and with Outlook on iOS now, you can finally do that, where you can tell it, I don't want notifications from Outlook during these times. And that's really key because most people are integrating their tablets and their phones and their computers and everything else, right? With Office 365, you can install the software on 5 different computers and 5 different tablets and 5 different phones. So that's fantastic, especially when we're looking to work from home.
Yep,
But it could chain you to the desk, so to speak.
true.
Um,
That's where that balance comes in.
yeah. And then you touched on, small kids and having that distance from them. That's a challenge. Kids are going to be home from work this week, and parents are going to have to deal with that. I'm not looking forward to it at all. It's been for me, when we first went virtual, the first 6 months I still went into the office. I quit going to the office because, well, I just didn't like to drive into the office, and I found I was able to be just as proactive and just as productive at home as I was in the office. And the kids come home from school, they rush in and give daddy a hug and a kiss, no matter what's going on, whether the door's closed or not. So that took a little getting used to. We lost your video there, Ed. But over time they've adjusted to it. And we need to keep that in mind, that you need to have that door policy. Either, put a note on the door, put something there that they know, hey, you're in a meeting and this isn't a time to come barging in. And they're going to barge in the first couple of times, but they'll get used to it. One of the cool things that I like about Teams is that we can blur the background. So,
Nice.
so now if the kids come rushing in, you're going to see something's going on there, but not necessarily everything. It's great if you're working in a coffee shop, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so there's that.
Excellent.
All right. And then what else, Ed? What else would you say helps?
A couple of things I think advantages are it greatly reduces the amount of sick days an employee takes, especially people that take a sick day because their kid's sick. You can actually be there to monitor your child and not actually lose, a day of productivity because of it.
Well, the challenge with that is that you have to communicate, right? You have to let your manager know, your boss know, the other people know what's going on. Hey, my kid's sick. I'm working from home. I'm going to get a full day in, but I'm not going to be there. You got to make sure the team knows that if you're stepping away, you're stepping away. And when you're back, you're back.
Well, I wanted to touch on that too, boss. One thing I did really learn, well, since you can't just yell across the room and ask a question when you work remotely, you really learn the importance of following the SOP, making sure that you submit tickets, making sure you communicate through the right channels. It's really important when you work remotely. You find that why those things are in place. Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of Teams, right? Is that you still have that instant interaction. One of the things I like, Ed, is I like to use video. You know it because we video frequently. Is to keep that connection with the team, even when you're distance, is to use video. Even if they're not using video, I like to use video because I feel that you miss a lot of the nonverbal cues when you're on the phone, or especially email, and video helps with that.
Oh, I agree.
What else would you say, Ed?
I would say that also you put an end to porch pirates stealing your packages. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
That's a good point.
You're someone at the door. You're there. Check.
That's a good point. It has a lot of advantages, and I think a lot of businesses are going to realize that's really good. I can say for Applied Innovations, it was probably one of the best things I did was taking the company virtual like this, because the team absolutely loves it. They have a little more flexibility in their schedule, and it works. It really works if you do it right and you stay on top of it. Works. The one challenge I think, for us, at least that first year, was staying connected. And, it's easy to lose that. And we started to change that up this year, doing team events and making sure the team engaged. One of the things we need to do is kind of a virtual water cooler. Maybe a work with me type team where we bring up the video cameras as we're working so that we still have that interaction, that teamwork.
It's a good idea.
So those are some of the changes that I'd like to make. Is there anything else you want to add, Ed?
One more thing. Another great thing about allowing employees to work remotely is you're not restricted to your local talent pool. You can pull talent from, globally, really.
Yeah. I think one of the things a lot of people are going to be concerned about is cybersecurity, because a lot of people are going to be using their home computers, their home networks, and who knows what. Now, there's a lot of great tools. There's a lot of great tools we can use for that, and we help businesses with that constantly. So our customers that are going remote, we've been able to help them. If there's any other companies that are concerned about that and what they can do, by all means, they can speak to yourself or to me, and we can have that conversation. I hear Buster at the door here. He's a little upset the door's closed, so he's going to barge in at any moment. But there we have it. And if for the people that don't know, Buster's my dog. He's not my kid. I didn't name my kid Buster. He's my little Havanese, and he wants some daddy time. So I'm looking forward to that. Ed,
Hi,
I
Jess.
appreciate the chat, buddy.
Thank you, Jess.
Hey, and before we end it out, I don't know if I've shared this with you or not, but I've got a number of conversations lined up. We're going to call them Cyberside chats with Jess. And I've got some experts around sales, business growth, marketing, lead generation, business insurance, human resources, law, that are going to talk about, that I'm going to ask questions of in relation to working from home and how to make that work. And I really especially hope that the audio works out well on this call with me and you, Ed, since it's our first call and it's the first time doing this, because I would hate to have to re-record this. But we'll see. Anyway,
Thanks, Jess.
if you wanna tune into that, by all means, please click the little like button on the video wherever the hell I post this. It's going to be on LinkedIn, I'm sure, and Facebook, and follow along. If you have any questions or someone that you want to ask questions of, by all means, leave us a comment about that. And if you're an expert in a certain area and you want to share your expertise about working remotely or working from home, by all means, reach out. We'd love to have that conversation too. Ed, I appreciate you taking the time to video with me, buddy.
Thanks, Jess. It was great.
Have a good one.
Thanks.